Today marks an important day. If you're a Green Bay Packer fan and you have sat here and watched through the struggles of these last seasons with this kicking game in Green Bay, if you've sat there through the many misses of Anders Carlson, if you sat through the kicking battle with Greg Joseph and Anders Carlson, and missed extra point attempts, many missed field goals, much irritating missed field goals for 2 seasons. Today feels amazing because it's almost a validation that Brandon McManus just secured a 3-year contract with the Green Bay Packers. It's amazing. It's amazing. ESPN reports the Packers finally have some stability at kicker after they've agreed to bring back veteran Brandon McManus. The two sides agreed Tuesday to a 3-year, $15.3 million deal, including a $15 million signing bonus, and well deserved. You know, it's one of those things. I feel like you go back to the beginning of this season, before it all started, I wouldn't have guessed that at the end of the season, the Packers would have their kicker and would have consistency at that position and would be signing a guy to a 3-year, $15 million deal. I just wouldn't have guessed it. And I think at the beginning of the season, when you had those Anders Carlson stuff happening, then he ends up getting released. He doesn't even end up being the kicker going into the season. And I would have never guessed that this would happen. And then you have Brandon McManus, who comes in and immediately makes an impact when he gets to Green Bay. Immediately hits walk-off game-winning field goals that we haven't had since Mason Crosby. We haven't had consistent play at that position since Mason Crosby. And I know it's only a few years back, so it's not the craziest thing. But when you take a guy like Anders Carlson and you draft him, there is a significant amount of expectations for what you're going to get out of this guy, who he's going to be, and then he's going to live up to someone like a Mason Crosby in terms of consistency. Now, obviously, Mason Crosby had his ups and downs, especially near the end of his time in Green Bay, but he was pretty consistent for the whole of his career. And that's what you wanted out of Anders Carlson. We never got it. It never came. And then you have Brandon McManus, who steps in and is consistent. He had, I believe, the best kicking percentage of his career last year. It was like 95. I believe he made 20 out of 21 field goals, if I'm not mistaken. Let's look at that up. Let's go to ESPN. Last season, field goal percentage, 95.2. Field goals made was 20 out of 21. And his field goal percentage was the highest of his career. All through Denver and through his last year with Jacksonville, this was his highest. And it's impressive. And it was such a quick fix to the Anders Carlson situation. Almost didn't feel real because he just came in, filled that position, and it was a position you want now. Now, obviously, there's some other concerning points. You know, I think in last offseason, it felt like, we have all the pieces to make a Super Bowl run. We just made the playoffs and went against the 49ers and lost. But it felt like we had all the pieces. We just need this kicker, right? And then we need a little bit of experience in Super Bowl. Get into the season, you don't have a kicker quite yet. But then you get Brandon McManus, who's a guy that can get you to a Super Bowl if you need a kicker that can kick consistently. He's a guy that can be consistent for you and now get you into that game. And now, obviously, the focus switches to other parts of this team that need to be filled for them to be a championship team. But one of those positions is not Brandon McManus at kicker. That position is filled. That position is solid. Congrats to Brandon McManus for getting this $15.3 million deal. Well-deserved, $5 million guaranteed for 3 years. Let's read some of what ESPN has to say. It marks the first time the Packers will go into a season with the same kicker from the previous year since the last of Mason Crosby's 16 seasons. in 2022. The Packers signed McManus last October to replace rookie Braden Narvison, who missed 5 kicks in his first 6 games of last season. Narvison had replaced Anders Carlson, who served as the team's kicker in 2023, but missed at least 1 kick, field goal, or extra point in 8 of the last 10 regular season games. Man, if you know what? I don't know. If you're missing at least 1 field goal or extra point in 8 of the last 10 games, we should have got rid of him way sooner. At the end of that season, I can't believe they didn't get rid of him. And you heard Matt LaFleur talking about every time he goes out there, I make a prayer. They should have got rid of him way sooner than they did. And they didn't. They ended up getting rid of him in the training camp. End of training camp, going into the season. Took way too long. Too much grace. And maybe there was some ego decision there because he was drafted and that whole situation. Shouldn't have took that long. So, McManus ends up coming in 11 regular season games last year. McManus made 20 of 21 field goals and all 30 of his extra points. He missed 1 field goal in the playoff loss to the Eagles. McManus, who spent 9 years with the Broncos, won with Jaguar, blah, 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 blah. McManus came in. He stepped in. He did his job. Congratulations to Brandon McManus. Well-deserved. Excited for him. Can't wait what else this team does. And Green Bay Packers finally have a kicker. Green Bay Packers have a kicker, man. So, Packer plug.